Hey there, Chadi Bazzi here, and welcome to another episode of the Top Listing Agent Show. Today, I bring you a superstar. Jessica Starr is our guest today, and we're going to have a very good conversation that is going to revolve around scripts. That's going to revolve around lead generation. It's going to revolve around controlling your time and getting your life back so you not only build a business by design, but you also live a life by design. With that said, Jessica Starr, rock star, welcome to the Top Listing Agent Show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm so grateful to be here. I just hope I can serve you guys at a high level. You get some nuggets to use that you can implement in your businesses and in your lives, and make those changes you need so that you're present with your families and your loved ones, and you're the most purposeful and impactful in your business that you can be. You're not just, hustling day to day and not feeling like you're getting anything done. You feel like you're on that hamster wheel every day.
Yeah.
But you're just doing all the tasks and you're not feeling like you're doing more business. I've been there. So if I can help you get through that, I'd love to do that.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate that, Jessica. And Jessica, some people may be familiar, with you. Some people may not be familiar with who you are. So can you tell our audience just how awesome you are? Who are you and how awesome are you?
Well, I'm Jess Starr. I'm just a working mom of four here in Connecticut. We are a one-income house. I'm married to my high school sweetheart. We are investors. We own 6 properties, multiple doors, and we have a pretty sizable team. We just made 3 additional hires this week, so I think we're up to 12 or 13 people. I'm losing count now. So on our team, which is great. So far, we typically close about 175, 200 deals a year here in Connecticut, which is pretty decent. And so far this year, we've already pended and closed 100, and I think we're at 115 and 35 million in sales.
Wow, good for you. I'm glad that you brought those numbers up early on in the show because, I think most people, they listen for the number, and if the number sounds right, then they pay attention. So I'm going to tell you right now, our audience, stop what you're doing, grab a pen, grab a paper, and pay attention because we're going to find out how the heck is Jessica doing so many deals. So far, we're recording this at the end of May. We're not even halfway through the year, and you're already tracking to quantum leap last year. So, how long you been selling real estate, Jessica?
I started when I was 23 years old. I'm going to be 42 in October, and I love this. The first year, I want to be real clear because people see these numbers, 17, almost 18 years. And people see these numbers and they go, oh, that must be nice. And well, she's got her team and they do it all right. So no, that was with us like 4 people doing it and a part-time person, 4 agents and a part-time person doing it. So that's pretty sizable number. And I'm a team lead that's also in production. So I do a sizable amount of business, but on average, our team members for the beginning part of the year have pended and closed about 23 deals each so far for the year. So that's pretty decent. And I'm pretty proud of that. So if you just average it out amongst the 4 or 5, agents that we had doing it, right? And annually they do a heck of a lot more than that, obviously. So that's pretty good.
Yeah. Awesome.
But the first year, I only did 2 crummy condos.
Wow.
So it grows.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You say your first year you did 2 deals. And it's very interesting that you say that because most people that do 2 deals their first year, they say, screw this. I'm going to go get another job. I can make more money. You kept on going.
Right.
Did you have any thoughts of like when you first got into business and you only did 2 deals your first year, did you have any thoughts of like, this ain't, I'm not cut out for this. This ain't going to work for me. Yeah. And how did you work through that?
Yeah, so that first year, our story is kind of interesting. The first year when I did the 2 deals, I did the deals. I got into real estate because it was after September 11th, a couple years, and I had lost my job, and I got into real estate because I thought, hey, nobody's going to tell me how much money I'm going to make. I'm going to work the hours I want, and the income's limitless, right? And it's also possible to make nothing too. So, nobody tells you that side either. And yet I still saw the income as limitless when I only had those 2 sales, right? So I kept going because I had a passion for it, and I saw what other people weren't willing to see or weren't willing to do. And I wanted to take care of people, and I wanted to care about them. And I think I had the heart to care, and I had the grit, and I had the hustle, and really just wanted to keep doing that for others when I didn't see it in the other agents I was co-broking with, or I didn't see the care about the client. I saw the care about the commission, and I didn't care about the commission. That's why I kept going. When I stopped caring about the commission just kept coming. So that was kind of the difference.
It's great that you say that, because it's a very common theme in all the top people in any industry. I mean, the moment that you stop looking at that dollar sign and you start looking at the human sign, you change your conversation, you change your way of being, and all of a sudden people call you lucky because you're attracting so much. But in essence, you're not getting lucky. What you did is you changed your way of being. You became a person that's about the people, and people can pick up on your energy. And if you're there to look out for their best interest, how could you ever lose? How could you ever be rejected? You cannot. You only keep on winning. So let's go through your journey real quickly. First year you did 2 deals, and then when did you have like your big breakthrough? Like walk us through like, those, like those moments of like, okay, so here's the next level, and then the next level. How did that look like over the course of the last 17, 18 years?
So I think what people miss when they see all these breakthroughs and, all the success, is they miss all the failure in between. And the failure is where the magic happens. So that's where the lessons happen. And the willingness to get back up is where you find the lesson. So I haven't failed. I've had a lot of lessons, is what I see it as. And so for me, I did 11 deals the next year, 19 deals the next, and in between I had multiple babies. We have 4 kids. And so for my husband and I, we never wanted to put our kids in daycare. So our kids have never been in daycare. They've been in preschool for a couple hours a day, but they've never been in daycare. And so it was always a blessing to us that we got to raise our children. And that took a lot of hard work too, right? And sacrifice. So I took 3 to 6 months off with each kid. That's why my numbers went up, maybe not so much in between, but we took that time off with each one. So by the time I was with Prudential for the first 7 years, and it was a great company to start. And then I saw Keller Williams, and I saw the option there to really expand my business and really grow, because the mindset and the thinking was so vastly different from any company in our area that I had seen. And the training was just unbelievable. And I had done things differently with social media. And as a new mom at home and not having a ton of extra cash, well, I knew that when I would do my status updates on Facebook, people noticed. And even if I was at home saying, working on contracts in Simsbury, West Hartford, and, Enfield, Connecticut, people were like, wow, you're so busy. And I might've been there feeding my baby at the same time, but they saw I was so busy because of my status update, right? So it's all perception too. How easy is it for a free status update that we could do so simply and then still be with our kids?
Yeah.
So just thinking of doing those things made a huge impact. And the status updates really started getting me more attention and more business. And then just being present and on social media and liking people and commenting. So that kept growing. And then I decided to switch to Keller Williams. Well, when I switched, here's one of the things that happened. I was a single agent. I left Prudential as their number 1 agent in 2010. And I was a single agent doing about 5.6 million in sales and 45 houses, I think it was, in 2010. And that made me a top producer there in Simsbury, Connecticut. And the funny thing, I look back now, and that's a great number. Like, I'm not making that a little number. It's a great number. Yet when I switched, I came and I was, one of the top agents at Keller at the time. That first year, I ended up needing to hire my first admin, and I paid him like $200 a transaction. Well, I found out I was pregnant with our third. It was unexpected. We were super excited. The very next day, my husband had an accident at work, and he fell 16 feet out of a firehouse ceiling, and he broke his back. So that accident, he probably should have been dead because it was such a huge fall. And we were so blessed that he didn't die, but he was in a hospital bed in our living room. I had a 2 and 4-year-old, and I was pregnant with our third, and nobody knew. I was at a brand new company, not even 6 months, right? Just starting, and my business took off from being at Keller Williams. And that first year, my business went up 114%. And I was like a mama bear because I wanted to just keep my husband, my high school sweetheart, safe, put him on a shelf if I could, take care of those babies, grow this baby, grow this business. And I had to hire my first buyer's agent in September that year. My assistant became full-time. That buyer's agent didn't have deals that closed until December, and there was only a handful of them. And my business went up 114% that first year to close 13 million in sales myself. So that was
Wow.
2011,
Wow.
and I had a baby.
You know, you could have made every excuse in the world. You know, I'm having a baby, you know, my hormones all over the place. You know, my husband just fell down. He almost died. I got to take care of him. You know, I got 2 kids at home. You could have made any excuse to just stay exactly where you're at. And you just weathered the storm, and you had over 100% increase in business despite of any adversity you faced that year.
Right.
That requires a very strong mindset. Can you walk us through some of the things that you do to keep your mind in perfect order to get you through anything and take you to the next level? What's your process? What do you do?
Well, you know, everything is not perfect all the time, right? So you're allowed to have a pity party, but then you put your big girl pants on and you deal with it. So you give yourself that pity party. If you need a day, you need an hour, but you celebrate the small wins. And you celebrate them consistently. And sometimes it might just be a win for that hour, right? And then you move on. And we've had multiple huge life traumatic events throughout this process of building my career, and that are like major setbacks nobody probably has had, or they've had them minimally, but we've had huge traumatic ones. And I'm grateful for every one of them because all the lessons we've learned have prepared us for times like the pandemic, because we didn't stress. We didn't, panic. We didn't lay anybody off from our team, and our business grew, right? And we were able to be a light in other people's darkness for our clients, our community, and other agents. So it depends on how you do it. So it's a mindset thing. And I work on, you're going to laugh. So I work on gratitude and affirmations every single day. I listen to podcasts. I participate in podcasts. I read books every single day. I journal every single day. So those are things. I meditate every single day. It's just habits that I've built. And I built it from a class called Bold, where I originally started when I was at Prudential. And halfway through Bold, I was like, okay, I'm foolish. I need to get to Keller Williams as fast as I can because it's just an amazing opportunity and company. I've taken it 19 times. It's kind of ridiculous, but
love it. Yeah, I have a lot of clients that have taken Bold, and they absolutely love it. So basically, you're doing journaling every single day. You're doing your gratitude list every single day. You're doing a meditation every single day. So the key, I mean, here's the thing. I promise you, 100% of our listeners right now, or whoever's watching this video, they've heard the same exact thing from a million other people. And I think how that works is through consistency. It's not about, journaling every once in a while. It's about creating the daily habit and doing these little things that make a big difference. So I heard you in another interview that you and your entire team do this every single morning. You guys take a picture and send it to each other, right?
So one of my, at any time, and they love this because they're like, okay, Jess, you're like the mini Tony Robbins wannabe. I'm like, I know. But, if somebody has like a bad mindset, or I can feel, I'm a big person on energy, and I can feel that energy, especially with my guys on the team, right? Or certain times of the year, Connecticut can be gloomy. So I'm like, all right, listen, I'm like, we're going to do gratitude and affirmations. I'm like, I want 5 gratitude statements, 5 affirmations. All right. They have to text me by 8 a.m. with a picture of their gratitude and affirmations. And every morning on our team huddle, that's only 15 minutes, they have to tell me their affirmation. And they say it to the group. What's your affirmation for it could be the same one if they want. Some of them switch it up. Sometimes it's the same one. And sometimes it's I list and sell a home a day. I sell 2 homes a week, whatever it is. Sometimes it's I'm the healthiest version of myself, mind, body, and soul, and inspire others, whatever it might be. Then on our team meeting, we just say what we're grateful for that week, right? So we do that. And then it depends on what they do daily. But those are the habits we do together too, because I want to get them in that mindset. And then it's one little extra thing that we can do. And that's the energy they could put out to their clients as well. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm very big on the same exact thing. I don't care, for some people, they wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, etc. I say it doesn't matter what time you wake up, as long as you do the right things that you're supposed to do to, like prime your mind, prime your body, prime your soul. Not just so much for yourself, but so you could give the better version of yourself to the people that rely on you mentally, emotionally, and physically, people that need your services that, you in your community, etc. So, we're not only doing it for selfish reasons.
Sometimes we're not, it's challenging and you can be hard on yourselves because sometimes it is a challenge. And, being a mom, it can be challenging getting everything done in the morning. Sometimes you're just tired. And you know what? If you're tired and your body needs that rest, give yourself a break. Take the rest you need. It's okay. Sometimes you can't get it done in the morning. Today, I couldn't get it done in the morning. So it's going to sit here until I get it done. And I'm going to leave it open and I will get it done today. And I might just write, I'm on my 3rd gratitude statement because it might be, I'm grateful for this podcast after this. And then, you know what? But it's going to get done by the end of the day.
Awesome. I'm grateful for Chadi Bazzi. I'm grateful for the Top Listing Agent Show. I just gave you 2 of them. There you go. I just, shortcut. I love it. Love it. All right. So I want to shift over from, mindset, et cetera, to do as many deals as you're doing, over 100 deals a year. This year, you'll definitely, go way over 200 deals. Where is your business coming from? Because I know this is like a question everybody's waiting for. Where is she getting those deals from?
So it's, we're really focused on past clients. We're really focused on agent to agent referrals, working on our reviews. We do a lot with Facebook ads. We do a ton of client, community, and charity events. So we build out our whole marketing calendar a year ahead of time. And obviously with the pandemic happening, we switched the way that we did everything too. And we actually still did the events, but we made them physically or socially distanced, or, we did more of our events totally charity based because we felt like people's hearts needed the healing and the help. And when you give, you feel like you're helping. So it was really an outreach last year more than anything. And that just filled our cups so much. So much so that we even went down at Christmas time and I got my husband dressing up as Santa and Mrs. Claus doing events as well.
Awesome. That is so awesome.
Yeah, super fun.
So you get a lot of repeat and referral business.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
Okay. Let me ask you, do you, some people cannot relate to the level of production that you're at right now because they're in a completely different place. Yep. Some people that are, watching this video are probably doing about a deal a month, maybe 2 deals a month. Maybe they're just in the mindset of like, I'd like to increase my production by just 1 deal a month. What advice would you have for that person?
What I would tell that person is to love on your clients like no other. I would tell them, make it a point that when you meet with that person to tell them you want them to be a part of your client base and your client family for life. By doing that, you want them to know that if they need anything from a doctor to a contractor, that you want them to call you. You don't want them posting in a Facebook group asking for a painter or a heating and air guy. And you want to have a list of those contractors. So if you don't, you should be calling and making connections with those contractors now. Introducing yourself, saying, hey, I've got a client base I'm building. I would love for you to be our preferred contractor of whatever it is, right? Beacon Mechanical is one of our contractors that we love to refer. And they know me by name so much so that when I call, the plumbing department knows me, the heating department knows me, the owner of the company called me to come list his house.
So basically what you're saying is, don't just be their resource for real estate. Be their resource for everything. And that makes so much sense. It's like, if I got something going on, you're absolutely right. Why should I have to go to Facebook or somewhere and say, hey, I need a recommendation? I should be able to think of someone that's the most resourceful person and call that person.
Yeah.
And that just furthers the relationship. So
your job is to be a connector. You are their Angie's List. And if you're doing your job right, at our first consultation, so we have a buyer consultation. I have done this since I got into real estate. So you're the professional, you're a consultant. Consultants make more money than just a real estate agent. So we are real estate consultants. When we meet with people, we have a buyer consultation and we have a seller consultation. We go over our marketing packet with the sellers that gets sent to them beforehand, and then go over the numbers when we sit down with them. They get the buyer packet beforehand, and we go over it with them to walk them through the process, go over their wants and needs, and go over the buyer broker so that that's signed even before we take them in our car. They get pre-approved as well. So we're not wasting any time, and we want to work with people who want to work with us. So that being said, when we sit down with them, we tell them, guys, here's the thing. We're going to ask two things of you. Number one, if we do the job that you deserve and that we expect to provide for you, we're going to ask you for a 5-star online review. That's number one. And number two, if we provide this 5-star service, we hope that you're going to tell everyone you know. So can you do us a favor and start thinking of somebody now that we can help? That's one of your friends, family, or maybe somebody at work. We'd really appreciate that. That's the biggest compliment we could ever receive.
I love it. I love it. And Jessica, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. So I'm an agent that really don't have a big center of influence. I don't have an organized database of any size, but I want to increase my production by one transaction every single month. And I get that part one, I'm going to say, hey, start building your database. What else can someone do? Should they call on expireds? Should they call on for sale by owners? Should they go door knocking? Should they do open house? I mean, take yourself way back then, before you had this large database, right, that you have right now. What did you do back then that you would tell somebody to do right now to increase their production by 1 or 2 deals every single month, beginning now?
I do all of those things today.
You still call for sale by owners and expireds?
All of those things today. And we door knock, and we do mailers, and we do client events, and we do community events, and I call contractors, and I do business spotlights on Facebook. So all of these things I'm telling you, I still do. So the leader I am is a leader that's in action, because I want my people on my team to see that the things I'm asking you to do, I'm willing to do. So if we need more business, well, you got to pick up the phone. It's a contact sport. So you got to be face to face. So what's stopping you even from doing pop buys to the local shops in town, right? You have a phone. If you have no money, right, and you don't want to spend money on something, most of us have a smartphone, don't we? We probably have the ability to do a Facebook Live. So why wouldn't I take my phone and go to the local Simsbury town shops and maybe walk up to Wine Etc. and meet the owner, Lisa Hamill, and say, hey, Lisa, I noticed you have a great little new wine shop. Would it be all right if I maybe did a quick business spotlight and introduced you to my friends on Facebook? Would you offer a special to them if they came down here? Do you think that small business owner would love that? Absolutely.
Who wouldn't love some free advertising? Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. So guys, if you're watching this or you're listening to this on the podcast, I'm going to highly encourage you to do exactly what Jessica just said right now. Start a business spotlight, where maybe once a week, even if it's once every other week, you decide and start thinking about which local shops do you go to first before you start going to all the new ones and build a relationship. And I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't matter the size of the business. Okay, it doesn't matter the size of the business. What matters more is the relationship that you've already established with the business, and the relationship that you're going to further with the business and the audience of that business. And those videos don't have to be like, high production. They could be done on your smartphone. They don't have to be an hour long. They could be just a few moments. And the owner of that business is going to be so grateful that you've actually done that for them, that I think they're going to feel obligated to do business with you when it's time to do business to sell real estate.
So here's the funny thing about this. So people become what they call influencers for a couple reasons. Number one, so I told you I built my business from status updates on Facebook, right? It didn't cost me anything. I also participated and started in a bunch of groups as well. You could also do pages. Those are all free things. You don't have to spend a lot of money on shiny things to get started. And when you come from contribution and give, it matters. So when you go to the local coffee shop, and maybe it's not Starbucks, right? But you go to Dom's Coffee. I'm naming places that I go to all the time in the area. Here's a couple things, and it's something I've always taught when we go to these events and everything. I did a little litmus test one time, and I said, okay, everybody, we're teaching to the KW Young Professionals. I said, I want everybody in here. Here's my lesson to you, to raise your hand if you can tell me your barista's name. And it was a room of like 1,000 people. And I think maybe 10 hands went up. And I said, that's the problem, because my baristas are Andrew, Asta, Gitana, Jesus. Do you want me to keep going? Here's the thing. You might say, why would I know the barista's name? I can name them at Starbucks too. The difference being, yes, there's 1,000 real estate agents that go into everywhere, right? But when I'm like, hey, Andrew and Asta, how's Dom doing? Oh, I saw that you got your new puppy on Facebook. You know what I mean? There's a difference. You're making a human connection with people. And they know you care. They know that you do charity events too. They know that you support when they do their wine and cheese event. They see you're posting on your Insta story. So, and you're supporting their business when you're tagging their company, right? So then you do the small business spotlight. Well, it matters. And, maybe they can't use you because they have a relationship with somebody else, but maybe when the clients come into that coffee shop and they're spending $6 a latte, they probably have deep pockets, first of all. Maybe they're going to give your name out because they notice how you're doing it, right? And they do.
I love it. So basically what you're saying is, hey, be visible, okay? Be visible. Because if you're not doing something every single day to be visible, then you're practically invisible. And, I always say, look, it's not your client's job to remember you. It's not your prospect's job to remember you. It's your job to make sure they never forget you. So you could create the visibility via Facebook, via Instagram, via social media, any platform you want. There's no right and there's no wrong. And then wherever you're at, treat people as if they are people. Create that connection.
Yep.
Create that relationship. And like you said, they may be obligated to work with a family member, etc., but they're not obligated to refer everyone to that person. And if they like you, then they will send you the referrals. But I want to, my mind is saying, go back somewhere else in this conversation. A conversation that I absolutely love, one of my favorite conversations, because it's so profitable for my coaching clients. I got a client right now who will do over 100 deals this year with zero money on advertising. And basically, she's like picking up the phone and making phone calls, picking up the phone, making phone calls. So I'm a huge advocate of the phones. So outside of social media, outside of your database, for sale by owners or expireds or both, what do you say?
I say you do both. I mean, the challenging part right now is there is not a lot of expireds, at least in Connecticut. There's not a ton of expired. So if you're going to call expireds, what I would suggest is that maybe you look at the expired list like 2 to 5 years ago and see what hasn't closed or gone back on the market. Call those people. Call the ones that had a hard time selling. They're able to sell now. And call people that maybe bought back in 2011, 2007, like if you know them, or look at agents. This is also what we did. We have an orphan clients list. So look at agents in your area that are no longer in the business. They moved away, they passed away. They, think of those agents, right? They're no longer in the business, and start reaching out to pull up their agent ID and start reaching out to those people, right?
That's I haven't thought about that idea in years, but that is something that we used to do way back then. Back then, we used to just go to our manager and broker. We didn't have all the technology that we have right now and saying, hey, homeboy or homegirl is no longer in the business. Can I get her files? Right. I want to call up her clients and take care of them. They've done business with our company, etc., and form new relationships that way. That is another great idea. So look, 175 transactions, 200 transactions a year, 4 children, a loving husband at home, etc. Team members. I know Jessica is being pulled from the right. She's being pulled from the left. She's being pulled in many different directions all the time. How do you manage your day so you could, number one, maintain your sanity, and number two, keep your business moving forward, and number three, continue to give exceptional customer service to the people who are entrusting to sell their home or buy a home from you? What's your formula? What's your magic?
So, and there's times that we definitely get off track. I'm not going to lie about that.
Yeah.
Nobody is perfect. And it's something that I am consistently working on all the time, something I coach my team to all the time. You have to build in white space in your calendar. So having your calendar time blocked out to have preset appointments. And what I mean by that, I have people, I set appointments on for myself, and I have team members that now can set appointments for me as well. And, I need it color coded. I'm a visual person. So it's color coded, and if it's in blue, they can set an appointment. If it's in green, that's money. It's already set, right? Pink, it's for me. Don't set anything. I've set, it's personal. Leave me alone. Right. So you have to have white space in your calendar for yourself. Sometimes you just need time to think and to plan the business. So we had talked about that just before. Friday afternoons for me is time to think, work on, and plan the business. And sometimes it's just to plan and think for myself. I have another book that I keep, and literally it's all about, big dreams for my husband and I, and for our family. It's my Create Your Own Path book. And I do it, and I keep it for, okay, what investments, what properties do we want to buy? What trips do we want to take? When are we going to do it by? What, if we have debt, do we want to pay off? Or what, where do we want to reposition some finances, or, whatever it may be, because I don't want to be, I lost my father very young. That was another thing that happened. And my husband lost his mom very young. And so we know that we don't want to wait to retire. So
I like that. I don't want to wait to retire.
Right. We want to live like we're retired as we work, if that makes sense. So we want to work between vacations.
Can you give us some time blocking tips for the average agent? What should their schedule look like on a daily basis?
Sure. So it depends. This is what I'll say. I heard a friend of mine, Wendy Papazian, say at one point, like, if you're not a morning person, you don't want to wake up. KW is pretty strict and like, get up, do your lead gen, do your 3 hours of lead gen. Like, here's the thing. I'm going to give you a secret. Yes, you should do 3 hours of lead gen. That's overwhelming for a heck of a lot of people. Can you get in an hour? Is that overwhelming for you? Let me tell you something. Do a 5-5-5. 5 calls, right? 5 emails or texts, 5 Facebook messages, as long as they're 2 ways. Get that out of the way. You'll feel accomplished, and that's manageable, right? Get that out of the way first. So you've had those all done, and then, okay, what else can you do? But if you get that out of the way, you're making those contacts, 2-way contacts. If you're just sitting on the phone, nobody's picking up, you're going to get a little defeated. So I always tell my team, if you can only get in an hour a day and you don't know if you can do 1 solid hour, put a half hour in the morning, put a half hour in the afternoon. I want you to build in some white space, because if you're just going back to back to back, and I do have that energy that I can do that to myself as well, then you can run yourself ragged and you're going to get yourself sick. And I know that's what I used to do to myself all the time until I had the right people around me. And then I know that if I don't set myself up for a 4-day weekend or a 5-day over a long weekend, I will get sick. And for a long time. So I know that every 8 to 10 weeks, I need 4 or 5 days to just brain shut down, leave me alone. I need to do this and go dark, and I'm back, and then I'm running full force. The best part is, before I go away, I literally penned and list so many things that they're like, okay, we need you to go.
Yeah. I love that, Jessica. Jessica, so what you're saying is, I'm just interpreting in different words. Is lead generation is critically important if you want to take your business to the next level, regardless of what level you're at right now. And if you can't put in that 1 hour, if you can't put in the 2 hours or 3 hours, and if you could, God bless you and keep on doing it. It's not a bad thing. Some people have thicker skin than other people. Some people are more disciplined than other people. But in different words, what you're saying is, have a minimum standard.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to look a specific way in terms of 1 hour in the morning. It could be half hour in the morning, half hour in the afternoon, etc. But I like the minimum standard that I'm going to declare as a minimum standard right now is your 555. What if every single day you just made 5 contacts over the phone, 5 emails and or text messages, and 5 messages via Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc.?
Yep.
Then that's 15 contacts that you're doing every single day. And then if you have more time, if you have more energy and you want to do more, you could do more. But what I really like about that is as human beings, we always take the path of least resistance.
Right.
555 versus 2 hours. Guess what? Most likely you're going to do the 555. And then if you're consistently just doing the 555 and you're moving away from the 2 hours, you're still doing something every single day, and then your business will grow in spite of anything as a result of the compound effect of doing something small every single day that's going to build up and be
It's like
huge.
celebrating those small wins.
Yeah.
I think it was Charlotte Savoy that had said the 555 on one of the masterminds, and I thought that was brilliant because it seems manageable. So when you make the tasks small and manageable, someone is more likely to do them. So just like I said, the half hour in the morning, the half hour at night, I knew when I was a new mom starting out, sitting there and doing 3 hours was overwhelming. My baby would be crying. Something would be happening. Somebody need me to call and negotiate. Somebody would need me to do, right? And so it would distract me, or email would distract me. And email is a time suck. You do not need to sit in email all morning long. You can check email a half hour in the morning, half hour at lunch, half hour at night, and you can be done. You do not need to sit in email all day long. You can set filters to get rid of the spam, right? So there are ways to protect yourself. Do that 555. The only caveat is that it has to be a two-way conversation. So if you're just leaving a voicemail, that does not count.
Right. Right.
So,
all right. So we're going to get everybody on the 555. Jessica, we could keep on going. And I know you're free all afternoon today, right? So, but out of respect for your time, I'm going to wrap up by asking just like 2 more questions. And the question I have for you right now is there a question that you feel like I should have asked you today that I did not ask you that I must ask you?
you know, I think the question most real estate agents or most podcast people forget to ask for realtors is what's the best practices for real estate agents to make sure they're actually profitable and making money?
I love it. There you go. That's the question I was planning on asking you. And a reminder.
I just knew it. So I'm pretty passionate about making money and being profitable because I see a lot of agents talk a really good game. And I see a lot of agents talk about their numbers and how amazing they are. And I know in my heart that likely they've probably got amazing numbers and they're probably not profitable, because you see a lot of people driving fancy cars. And I know I don't look that fancy to you guys, but I'm a pretty smart cookie and I like to protect my family. I like to protect the people in my world and make sure they're making smart and sound financial decisions, both on my team and our clients and community. So I'm always trying to educate people on that. And there's been a bunch of podcasts I've done. You guys can follow us on YouTube /Starr Realty Group with 3 R's. Make sure you subscribe. There's a bunch of like the business spotlights you could follow too. So the financial thing that I think is really important is when you first get into real estate, most people just get that money, right? And they're like, yes, now I'm going to go buy a car. Now I'm going to go buy this outfit. Now I'm going to get this purse. I have always been a person unimpressed by things. And I've always been a person that was, you know, we'd go out to dinner with all our friends at an event and they'd tell me I was cheap because I, you know, didn't really care if we spent X hundreds of dollars on a bottle of wine and a steak and whatever else. I mean, it was great, but I thought if I'm doing this, I want to go out with my husband to do it. And even at that, that's the cost of a dishwasher, or that's, you know, I always would associate it with those things. Not that we didn't have it. I just thought I'd rather spend it on a property or on a, you know, thing that mattered. So don't be influenced by other people's decisions around money. Start educating yourself with books, with podcasts. Follow Ben Kinney and Win, Make, Give. He has a financial series that's amazing, and it would really educate you on that. And when you first start getting into real estate, make sure you have multiple bank accounts set up to save for taxes. Make sure you get a really good financial planner and CPA. because that's really important to do so that you start setting yourself up as an LLC and eventually an S Corp. And there are so many topics that you should talk about on this topic that I just really think people would be so much better educated around, because they get this money and they think they're loaded, and so many people are behind on their taxes. They don't have the funds.
Everybody.
It's everybody. And I am so unimpressed by most of the top producers because they're all show.
Jessica, I kid you not. I know people that are making $100,000 a month that are living paycheck to paycheck. That sucks.
That sucks.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I'd rather be making $10,000 a month and living a happy, stress-free life than to make $100,000 a month and live paycheck to paycheck. So you're absolutely right. You're working so hard to bring in the income, protect that income, invest that income, so that income goes to work for you somehow, some way, through whichever investment type you may be into, whether that's stocks, whether that's real estate, whatever makes your heart sing.
In real estate, you have the vehicle at your fingertips to make the best financial decisions you could possibly make. And when you're in real estate, you're the one that people are coming to for advice on this exact topic. And if you're not the one that's able to do it for yourself, how do you have any validity in teaching them and helping them to do the same?
100% true statement. Jessica, I'm sure over your career of 17 plus years in real estate, you've read some great books that gave you some aha moments, because I see a bookcase right behind you. So you've read a few books, yes. Is there one book that comes to mind of like, or maybe you do this, I don't know, maybe when you bring on a team member, do you give them a book and tell them this is like a book to read or anything like that, or any recommendation? What's one book you would recommend?
One is really challenging. Yes. So I'm going to have to answer this. You're going to ask me for one. On the topic I just said, I'm going to give the newbie agents a book to read called The 4 Laws of Financial Prosperity.
I'm going to write that one down because I never read it.
Yep. It's a very short one. So read that one for the newbies out there. And it's a great one. For my team, we have the 100 days. So they all have to read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and they have to read The Millionaire Real Estate Investor, which I absolutely
love. Good books. Absolutely. I recommend those.
One of my favorite books, because it has such great tips, is What Would the Rockefellers Do? It is an amazing book, and it's great tips on actually using life insurance policies. I really study money. I study wealth, and that's why we own multiple investment properties. And my goal is to educate my children and our community and our clients on how to build wealth through real estate and other smart investments. So any properties we buy, I own more than 20% in every property. And I'm setting them up with LLCs and trusts and everything else so that we can protect them in the estates and from probate, and to create a legacy for my family.
I love it. I love it. Jessica, I think I said I love it like 25, 30 times over the course of the last 40 minutes. And I really do love it, because what you're sharing with people is very, real down to earth advice from the trenches, from experience. And it's not so high level that no one can relate to it. So I want to say I appreciate your time. I appreciate your contribution. And I know there's people out there that are either watching this video or listening to this podcast, and they're saying to themselves, man, I love this Jessica Starr. I want to enter her world. I want to know more about her. I want to be connected to her. How can they find you online, or how do people connect with you?
Well, we're pretty easy. All you have to type in Google us, Jessica Starr, 2 R's, Starr Realty Group, 2 R's in Starr always. You can find us on Google. We are always so grateful if you found any of this helpful, for Google reviews. That always fills our cup so very much. Facebook, Starr Realty Group, Instagram, Starr Realty Group CT. Subscribe on YouTube. We're always trying to do content that is educating our clients on certain topics, that's happening in our community, doing the business spotlight. So they're great things to follow, because if you want more ideas on stuff that you could do for your community, on stuff that you could do for your businesses, or even how to promote your listings, we're always posting it there too. So, and if you have ideas for us, we're always happy to mastermind with you too. There's even some great masterminds that some of my friends posted on there as well.
I love it. See, I said I love it again. I love it. I love it. Awesome. Well, hey, thank you very much. I appreciate you, and I look forward to having you again sometime in the near future on the Top Listing Agent Show. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We're so grateful to be here. Connect with us for Connecticut or Massachusetts anytime. Happy to help you guys out.
You are awesome.